afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To The Point with the King. You guys know what to do. Find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching us. Make sure you click subscribe, click like, leave a comment. We still have that sweater to give away. I got a bunch of things. I got a Vinsanity poster to give away. I got way too many things for you guys out there. Okay? And thank you guys for all your support throughout the 6+ years that I've been doing this. Thank you for enjoying our fantastic guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a person who I consider a celebrity because I know all y'all out there like him, right? All the way from the East Coast to your home, the coach, Roach. How you doing today, my brother?
Man, I always do a little bit better when you introduce me that way. I'm doing pretty good. Season is winding down. Probably not a bad thing that it's winding down.
Yeah, it ain't a bad thing. Don't worry, you'll be on here with B from Beyond the Locker Room, and we'll talk about that if we can make that happen, which I would prefer. So, by the way, let me give a quick little plug. Ladies and gentlemen, we here from To The Point are working on the merchandise, and we will have it up if you guys are interested in purchasing that. We would love to you just leave a DM, leave a comment. We're going to set up a site for you guys. So, but that's it. But Coach, forget all that. I asked you to come here. I've been up your ass about this one. No Diddy, no Jersey. But I've been asking you to come on for this one because you and I, as former coaches, current, maybe not as much as before, but when it comes to the Toronto Raptors, there is a lot of young players, a lot of rookies, a lot of young players that we have seen for this team. Bars. I didn't mean to rhyme that. But what do you think about the current state of the Toronto Raptors with all of these younger players? Because let's face it, most of the team are young guys. I want to hear your thoughts, man.
Well, I think the Raptors are trying to build a core, trying to build a foundation. You just can't build around one player. You have to build with a group of players, ideally diversifying skill sets. You don't want to have too much redundancy, but at the end of the day, talent will always win in the NBA, as it will in any professional sports league, quite honestly. So the Raptors at this point in their rebuild should be trying to acquire as much talent as they can, but not. We saw Vision 6-9 and how that worked out. It was a lot of guys the same size who, they couldn't shoot. So I would not go with that anymore. You want a championship with guys who may have ranged from like 6 foot tall and Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry to like 7'1" and Marc Gasol, and just having different skill sets, guys who are going to work hard, coaches who are going to coach and develop these guys, and a culture. That's what you're also trying to do as well. So it's been a bit of an up and down year for the Raptors specifically, but there has been some promise with some guys, I will say. Still have some questions, though, I do think. But I look at a guy like RJ Barrett, 22 points a game, basically, 6.5 rebounds, almost 6 assists. This is RJ's best season in the NBA. He's 24 years old. And 36% from three. Scotty, I think my biggest thing with Scotty this year is his defense. I think his defense has gotten a little bit better. He's got to work a bit more on his offense. I mean, him shooting 44% from the field, he's got to have that higher, quite honestly. The 3-point numbers.
They got to let him work more in the post, but we'll get into that later.
Right. And I just think Scotty needs to work more offensively, but still, I mean, his two-way versatility, you need that. You're not going to win without it. So
Speaking of
And I look at
Scotty,
it,
he's ranked number 4 when it comes to small forwards in the league. But go on.
right? Yeah. And then a guy like Grady Dick, Grady started out the season really hot. He was averaging anywhere from 18 to 20 a game. Once all the guys came back, I thought that he kind of lost that rhythm, and naturally he would if Quickly comes back. And then you had Jacoby Walter being inserted, and he was in and out of the line for defensive reasons as well. But I thought Grady Dick year 2 was good, especially that first part of the season. And he had a tough rookie year, but he showed enough in year 2. Just that improvement it was very good to see. And I love the rookies. They're really good. Jamal Shed and Jacoby Walter.
Thank you. Go on.
These guys can play. Like Jamal Shed, the reason he was the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year last year in college. I think he plays with a toughness that this team has been missing for a long time, basically since Kyle Lowry, quite honestly. I'm not comparing him so much to Kyle Lowry, but you need a guy who's mentally tough like that. Exactly. Guy who's going to be no BS, don't put up with nonsense, guy who can lead, can run an offense, guy who kind of commands respect. I think Shed's got that type of personality.
Especially when he can dunk on you like that. Jeez.
Yeah, he's a better athlete than I thought he was. And a guy like Jacoby Walter.
Hitting game winners.
The last one.
Hitting game winners. Give it to him. Come on. I, before you go on, I just got to say, his name is Jacoby. His parents purposely said that they named him after Jordan and Kobe. Hell yeah. Hallelujah.
He's not shy.
Yes. Let's go.
He's not shy. I've been impressed with him his rookie season. He's different than Grady. Grady sometimes has a little bit of a hesitancy about his game. Jacoby, it don't matter. He's getting his shots up. And I kind of like that. Just someone who's going to try to get their offense going. Because again, there are times that can be a bit of an inconsistency for us. But I like what Jacoby has brought to the team this year. And again, I expect a big year 2 from Jacoby Walter. Big year 2.
Is there any other the rookies like Battle or Shamshay or Abaje that you would like to touch on?
Well, Shamshay, I was pretty high on him when they drafted him. I like his upside and his potential. Now he needs time. Big guys always need time. And I think just coming to basketball, I think he may have came to basketball at a bit of a later age too. So those guys, they need more experience, they need to get stronger, need to get used to the NBA game. So I have promise for Shamshay for sure. And my guy, Jamison Battle, I call him the Sam Hauser for the Boston Celtics. I think he's kind of that important. Sam Hauser's hugely important to the Celtics. I think Battle, in a couple of years, he could be that with the Raptors. The form, he's got that sweet left-handed form, the stationary shot. It's the form has sped up as the year has gone on, and he has to speed his form up. He's a good shooter. Shoot. So
exactly.
If he's able to shoot the ball, he'll have a job in the NBA for 10 years.
Well, here's what I think. Masai's not thinking about his dinner. He's thinking about breakfast 2 days from now. Okay? They're thinking ahead. So with these younger guys that are in there, some of them, like what I've noticed, right, and from what I understand, is they're basically like, they might be young, but they're kind of seasoned vets. Like they kind of understand the game, but you got to give them the time, right, to get them on the court. And now that they're on the court and we're seeing more from them, right? I understand. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys might not like this, right? But like I said before, give the kids a chance. Let them learn, right? Because it all comes from the 905 pipeline all the way up to the big leagues, which is how us as Toronto Raptors fans. Wait, did I call myself a fan? Yeah, fuck you, Drake. No, I'm getting demonetized for this one. But You know what? Listen, the Toronto Raptors, watching this to see how they're building as they did for the 2019 championship to bring the Larry O'Brien trophy right here to our home. I see them copying that blueprint and bringing up these guys, the replications of the OGs, the Bouchers, the Pascals, bringing these guys up. Coach, I got to ask you right now, based on what we've seen from the young guys, what is the ceiling for the potential that these kids have from what we've witnessed? We don't know. We don't know. If y'all can see the future, buy me a lottery ticket. Coach, you're up, brother.
Need to add another elite talent to this team, at least. Another young elite talent. I don't know if what we have right now, if you're stuck in mediocrity. When I say that, I mean like 8th seed in the East or 10th seed. The NBA is very much about talent. If you want to compete with Giannis and Jason Tatum and the Knicks and the Pacers, we just don't have enough yet. But that's okay because we're in a rebuild. You're not going to have enough. That's why you're in a rebuild. But what this year has been about is trying to find out more information on guys. What is Scotty Barnes? What is RJ Barrett? What is Emmanuel Quickley? What is Grady Dick? I think you're getting more info on that. And that's going to help come draft time when you add a piece. Maybe there's a trade. We forget, too, Brandon Ingram is coming in on this team. So the rebuild next year stops. The rebuild stops next year. You don't add a guy and say, well, we're going to go for the 12th seed next year. You don't add a guy like that. The rebuild's over next year. The goal has to be with this team, as you just put, we got to make playoffs next year. I'm not so much suggesting the top 6. You got to get in the play-in tournament at least.
Thank you.
It's a failure if you don't get in next year. It's a complete failure. You don't add a guy like Ingram and have a high pick, and by the time the lottery's in about a month's time, so you'll know, like, if you add a super flag to this team with Ingram and Scotty, you're working with something.
Let me wake up from my dream, because that would be a dream come true.
Yeah, if you had Kaman Malawach from Duke.
For all the Raptors fans out there.
Yeah, if you had Malawach from Duke, you're 7'2". You lack size, Toronto. So we need to get more big guys to help out, so we don't have someone like Scotty guarding centers. I don't want that for him. That puts us at a disadvantage.
I want Scotty to be open.
I'd prefer him guard wings. That's what he does well.
Thank you. Even guarding guards as a bigger guard, I'd like.
Yeah, if he has to switch off and stuff like that's fine as well. But I just think you need a good, strong draft pick to add to this core. You have to. If you want to compete for a championship one day, you're going to have to go up against SGA, Jet. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to go up against what they have in Memphis right now. You're going to have to go up once they have
Denver.
In Denver still. Then you're going to compete in the East as well with Cleveland.
Boston, Cleveland.
Yep.
Let's not talk about Philly. Boston, Cleveland, New York. Right? New York is on the up and up, right?
Hey, Philly's my team. What are you talking about?
Get some arthroscopic surgery.
I need the NN hat for Nick Nurse, but
yeah, see, there we go. Now you're segueing to what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes, the potential for the Toronto Raptors are there. I've said this with all the young guys, and you just mentioned it with like a proper draft pick. If you get a proper draft pick as a big, you're good because you're set on guards, you're set on the wings, right? You're set on all that. It might be a little too much for the Toronto Raptors. The one part they are lacking on is the big. All you got is Yak, basically, and maybe Orlando, right? And maybe Scotty to fill in there, right? That's pretty much what you got. So you're basically just relying on Yak, and you're taking Scotty out of his game. So based on what you just said, going forward, coach to coach, let's talk coach. Coach Roach. Darko just got extended. Right now, he's also, you can consider him part of this young core, ladies and gentlemen. And now that he is there, and he's going through forward with the young players, the young core, as we've mentioned, and the young players back them, and the young 905 players to help rebuild the Toronto Raptors into a championship contending team. Ladies and gentlemen, it ain't going to be next year. It ain't going to be the year after. Give it a couple. Have some patience. Pump the brakes, y'all. Right? I see y'all out there. But when you see Darko now taking the helm and getting the extension with the Toronto Raptors, do you see this young team with a younger coach, especially my man, Jama, my age, right, out there trying to be better over the next couple of years with the pieces that they have? Because I know everybody out there, I know you think I'm sitting here talking to Nick Nurse, but no, it's the Coach Roach. He does look like him. Yes, go ahead. Talk all your shit about that. Right? But Nurse did not allow the younger players to play. Darko is allowing the younger players to play and to gain more experience. Do you see that as beneficial for the Toronto Raptors going forward within the next few years?
Yes, it's a rebuild. You have to play young players. I think I'll be fair to Nick Nurse here, not because I look like him, but I'm not as cantankerous as he could be. But I think Nick Nurse was still on the mandate of winning, and he did everything he could to win. That's why you had Fred and Pascal playing like 40 minutes a night, and they wore it down. It's kind of what you're seeing right now with the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau. They're playing guys a ton of minutes. If you're in a rebuild, you've got to play these young guys. You have to find out what you have. So I'm always glad to see a guy like Jamal Shed play a ton of minutes. Ulrich Shamshi, this would have been perfect for his development had he not gotten hurt, because we would have got to see him. I saw this guy improve from first game of Summer League right till the end. I've been watching a few 905 games. He started to become more comfortable playing in the 905. And with someone like him, you can't skip steps development. He needs a lot of them. So I see a lot of these young guys like a Jonathan Mobo or Ray Dick. Like Brady's played more minutes this year. So yeah, I mean, you can't, in a rebuild, you got to play these guys. Jakob Poeltl came into the season at the press conference, says, we ain't trying to win every game. Now, as someone like me, who's a coach, I don't like to hear that, because as a coach, I want to win.
Every single fucking game.
Yes, but I do understand in the long term that this team does not have enough talent. So you're going to have to do what they're doing now. And I've been on your show before. I'm probably not the biggest Darko fan, but I'll give him credit for this. He is trying to thread an impossible needle right now. He's not so much doing it now, but he did it a month ago, and I gave him credit for it. Trying to, let's face it, they were trying to lose about a month ago, but he was trying to make sure the players, the starters, are getting enough minutes, and then bringing in the young guys at the end of the game.
Exactly. When
you got players like Scotty and RJ who want to win, and good for them, and you got to listen to your boss that says, you know what, we need some luck with the lottery balls. I mean, you know what that's about. It's just like, yeah, you might want to lose a few games. That's about trying to develop the young guys. So as a coach, that's very tough to do. So I give Darko credit for that. And I give him credit because I think the young guys, from what I've heard, this team still is buying into him. As long as you get buy-in from the players, you're good.
Dude, you know what it's like? Okay, sorry, I'm going off topic here, but you know what it's like, coach to coach. It's like when you got some young, raw talent that's potential, you want to play them, right? Let them try and fail, regardless of what, like, whoever is higher above you has to say. You know, let them try and fail. Now, it's like you said multiple times through this, and I'll simplify it. It's basically a litmus test. Let's see what we got. Let's get the information on these young guys. And I will credit Darko on that by like mixing them up and, putting them in the fourth quarter, which is when most of us, I will say, most of us watching the game tune out, right? But with those young guys, they've strung up. They were on that win streak just recently. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Okay, so I think it's more now for the young kids time to shine. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, play all the young kids you can. Give them tons of minutes. I don't know how many games are left in the year. 7, 10 games, maybe max 10 games.
Well, as of this recording, we have 10 days left. So
yeah. So, you play all these young guys. You give them tons of minutes, and this is basically like tryouts for next year. Some of these guys will not be on the team next year.
Thank you. I got into an argument with somebody on the street the other day about that. I'm like, let the kids play. It's a tryout. You never seen.
You need to see. Yeah, you need to see what you have in Jacoby Walter. You need to see what you have in Jonathan Mobo.
I think we know what we have in Jacoby. I think we know what we have in Mobo. I think we know what we have in Shed. Let them shine is what I'm saying.
I think Mobo needs a lot of work offensively. Defensively, he's going to help this team, I think. I think Jacoby's just about, I'm excited for his summer because I liked what I saw in Summer League. I liked what I've seen this season. He's got that toughness about him, like Shed, that I like for this team. So we get a pipeline again of young players like we did 10-ish years ago. So it's rough at times to watch the team, especially lose. We went on that big losing streak early on in the year. It's tough as a coach when you win 5 in a row and then you go play the Bulls and you don't play Chris Boucher, who's playing very well, and you sit him. That was tough for me because it didn't make sense. But I know the long-term goal is we need to add another ideally elite talent to this team if you want to get back to the promised land.
So okay, I'm going off script here again. So in order to get to the promised land, do you think the Raptors need to have a young talent that is big and an elite player to replicate like what Kawhi did when we got the championship up here? Do you think they need a combination of both or one of the two?
I think they need a scorer who can get you 25 to 30 a game.
I think Toronto already has that. You got RJ, you got IQ, you got Scotty. I think they already have it.
I don't know. Most teams have a guy when they're contending. They at least have one, maybe two guys who can just get you 25 to 30, which is a lot. I would need to see more development from those guys. Maybe it will come. I'm not saying that's not going to come. But I do think if they're going to contend, they're going to need that guy. Now, Ingram is a help. Ingram can score. And Scotty will be the bus driver of all of this. He's the guy that sets people up, whether it's Ingram, if it's another elite talent that comes in. And, I do think you're going to need another big eventually, kind of like you said, but I think you're going to need like a big and then another elite scorer at some point. Whether you find that internally through the draft or with the roster you have now, or it's through trade, you add a guy. But you got to get bigger. That is 100% clear. We're too small. We have to get bigger at the center position, ideally at the guard position too. We're 6'2" and under at the point guard position. I like to have one guard that's maybe a little bit bigger.
They're like almost a foot taller than you, bro. I don't understand what you're saying. They're a lot taller than me, right? I get it.
They're definitely a lot taller than me.
We definitely need a big here in the city of Toronto, right?
Yeah.
So before we head out of here, Coach, because time's ticking, Um, is there anything else you would like to say about the young talent that the Toronto Raptors have? The floor is yours, my friend. This is the coach, Roach, on To The Point. Go ahead, my friend. I'm gonna sit back.
I think the front office did a good job in drafting in a weak draft. Everyone said how weak last year's draft was, and you don't think like the idea. Let's go get 4 players or 5 players from a weak draft. Like it doesn't. It's counterproductive in the sense of why are you doing that. But I gotta
More than
say,
before Bronny. Sorry, go on.
But I think they did a decent job. Good job at identifying Jacoby. Lobo, I think it's definitely a skill set for the NBA in terms of just being able to guard multiple positions. He's a good athlete. I think Jamal Shed could be like the whole key to all of this. I mean, to find value at pick 40, whatever he was, that's tough to do.
I think it was
and then you've got to,
but go on.
Maybe it was, yeah. And then Shamshi at 57. Roll the dice with him. That's what I liked. When Masai said, let's go get the 57th pick. Let's just see what he's about. I would do that 100 times over. If I had a guy who was raw like Shamshi at 57, who's like 6'11", great athlete, probably could be a really good defensive player at least with a decent jump shot. Why not take a chance on him? It's not saying it's going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, well, he's the 57th pick. Who cares?
Yeah.
Finding Jameson Battle, undrafted.
Yeah.
He's going to be a role player in this league, and he's got a chance to have a 10-year career. So I think this offseason, in terms of identifying young players, not to say that any of them are going to be like superstars. We don't know that. I doubt it, but Jacoby might be the one guy. You never know.
They'll be sufficient. Maybe not superstars.
Yeah, but this is the draft now. You find a good guy, like a guy with some upside, I should say. If the way the lottery odds are now, we have the 7th best odds. You get a top 7 pick, you're doing pretty good. It's a start. It's your start to kind of the claw back, no pun intended to the claw, but the claw back to contention.
Well, you know what, Coach? Thank you for all your input. Right. I will just sign off by saying I agree with you on most of this, coach to coach. Right? Like, it's I see a lot of upside for these young Toronto Raptors, and I just want to say to Raptors fans out there, right? In the words of Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, I hate to say I told us so, but I told us so. Okay? The young guys, their potential is there. Give it some time. Don't try to make a mountain out of a molehill. It's a work in progress. And this is what the Toronto Raptors need right now. So, on behalf of myself and all the way from the East Coast to your home, the coach, Roach. Bring me some lobster, buddy. But, and myself, King from To The Point. You guys know where to find us. I told you, we'll talk to you guys about merch, giveaways, all that out there for you. And if you're watching right now, I consider you To The Point family. So thank you for supporting all the To The Point family on the other podcasts that they're on and their own personal podcast. Please give them some support. Please show them some love. So I'll just sign off by like this. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and peace.